look beautiful. All right, my name is Ashby Sade. I am the co-founder of Black Business Owners of Tulsa. That's long. I want to introduce our speaker because she is near and dear to me. Not only has she helped me in my personal walk, but in my business. I started here in real estate. Well, I started in Tulsa about 10 years ago. Went on this walk in real estate, and she literally helped me. I was not only the only Black real estate agent in my firm, but I was the top 3 producer in my firm. And I went from, and I owe a lot of this, if not most of it, to Dr. Tala Price. One of the many things that she has taught me through this journey of entrepreneurship is to don't give up before the press. And I'll give you a short clip of just some of the things that she's taught me over the years. There was a time in real estate where we had just did a one-on-one session, business coaching, and I had went out. Everyone in my firm had wanted a specific house, and she knows the story, but she doesn't know that it was due to her actual mentorship and her coaching. Well, everybody in this firm had wanted this particular house. It was one of the biggest houses in downtown Tulsa. It was set on the corner, right on Cheyenne. And in our firm, everybody was like, "What are they doing? I want this home, whatever." So I was, a new young buck in real estate, didn't know anything. So I had literally went door knocking. Door knocking is trying to solicit business, in real estate. So I went door knocking, and I had in my mind I was going to do literally 50 that day. And so I was literally at 48, and I was like, I'm just going to do this one more, and then I'm done, since I was right by. So I went to 49, and I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing no more. These people have closed this door. They kicked me off their property, pointed me to the no trespassing. I can't do with dogs, everybody, it's just too much. And so I was like, I'm done. But it was this one house. It was the house that everyone had talked about. Everyone was literally wanting in the firm. And I was like, there's no way they're going to want me. This woman, I don't even know nothing about real estate. Like, I was like maybe 30 days in real estate by then. I was like, I said one more. So I literally knocked on that door. And the lady looked like she was just happy to see me. And when I had went to 49 homes that literally was not giving me no type of love. You know what I'm saying? Like, no love. Looking through the people. I see you. Open the door. Like, what are you doing? Like, I see you looking at me, and you're like, what are we doing here? Knocked on this door. I got the listing, sold the property. Since then, I have literally doubled my sales since that time. Tripled my sales in Tulsa, period, as the only Black female in my firm. So a lot of this has been to Dr. Tala Price, her mentorship, and I've been with her for literally 10 years. I was 21 when I started, and I think I'm, doing quite good for myself, to be an entrepreneur, and literally she tells you to don't give up right before. A lot of times we give up right before, on the cusp of a win, and so when she talks about beating the odds, what are the odds that I would get a listing, a house sold that was like a 3-story home? What was the odds that a new real estate agent would know the right words, would have the right confidence to literally knock one more door and get that listing? So that is due to Dr. Tala Price. She is the owner of Zero to Business, also Winning Women Network. So if you want some wins under your belt, you want some major wins under your belt. Most of you know me as a serial entrepreneur. I also started Tulsa's first mobile boutique. Again, like I said, most of it started with her. I didn't know who I was, what I was doing, where I was coming from. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know my name, basically. Now I sit up here and I say, I'm Ashby Sade. I say it differently. I talk differently. And that is literally due to her. So I can specifically speak from my own experience, from my own outcomes, and my own zeros. Those things that add up in your bank account. That is what she's been able to produce for me in my life. So Zero to Business, Winning Women. Some people just brag differently, and I like to brag on how the success you actually have given me, true success. Every other day you see different mentors that pop up, different life coaches that pop up, but I have the proof. I am proof the digits in my account to literally show that you are who you say you are. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Dr. Tala Price.
Such a warm welcome, and thank you for this amazing opportunity to, you're sharing your gifts with me today. Yes, inviting me to be a part of BWBO. I want to thank her and Charity. I'm not sure where she went for this opportunity to. Hi, thank you. Powerful women, and I enjoy watching her over 10 years literally go from, like she said, someone is like, why am I in Tulsa? Why did I just move from Florida? What is my life about? To now telling people how to buy the block and how to fix their credit and how to, buy a home. So I'm proud to see those endeavors happen. And then connecting with a powerful woman like Charity, who's also, do y'all know she's serial too? That woman can hit you up in the corner. Anybody ever got hit up in the corner about your Charity can hit you up? Oh my gosh. And don't let her have an idea in her mind. She's never going to let it go or let you go.
Oh no.
She don't miss. No. Talking about a person that doesn't miss opportunities, a great example of what it really takes to have that internal power to win. These two women, I definitely believe, embody that, and now they're able to pass that on to this community, which I think is great. How many of y'all think we need it? Okay. If there's anybody who can talk about beating the odds, I feel like I'm in a room full of people who understand what it means to have to beat and master and defeat some odds. And so today I'm excited to be able to share just my experience and what I've learned over the years of doing this. I've been in business now, really got my walking MBA by accident. Y'all, I went to school for drama, television, and film. I thought I was going to go perform something. My life has been all drama and no acting. I just want you to know, okay? It wasn't a game, it wasn't an act. But since then, I've had an opportunity to build several businesses, really partnering with my mother and mentor, Dr. Tala Price. She has a lot of inventions and a lot of businesses here in the city and abroad. And I've had an opportunity to partner with her over the years. And through that experience, get my walking MBA on how to structure and set up companies and make things succeed from the ground up. Literally learning how to birth something out of nothing. I think that, you really discover your power resources when you have nothing in front of you and have to make something out of it. And start with just what you see right there sitting in the seat or what you see looking in the mirror. Now that's talking about pulling on some resources to win. Okay? So I've had an opportunity to do that for the years. I've set up about, I don't know how many, 5, I think. My goodness, she has a consulting firm, and then we have, ministry stuff, and then my goodness, she has a network and collaborative of her own. And through all of those experiences of having to go in and set them all up from nothing, from zero, just a vision in her mind, gave me the ability to understand what it takes to not only build a business, but what it takes for a business to succeed from the inside out. Because most of us go into business starting by what we see, the external, okay? When you're working for a mega corporation, okay? How many of you guys have ever worked for a mega corporation in here? Anybody come from that background? You work for AT&T or Verizon or any of those mega, companies of that nature. When you're working for companies like that, it's so easy to almost think that, success is magic. Because, there's all of these people building stuff, okay? They have a lot of minions. But how many real entrepreneurs I have in here? Entrepreneurs. You're building your own business, you're making it work. I don't know if you've ever walked around and asked the question, where are the minions? There is nobody but you, okay? You're out there, you are literally the cook, the baker, and the candlestick maker. You're answering the phones, you're beating the streets, you're trying to make it all happen yourself. There's nobody but you. And today we're going to talk about why that's the best resource you could ever have in your entire life. Sitting right there in front of you. So I want to thank you guys for this opportunity. That you can see my quick resume at winningwomensnetwork.com. I don't want to take up our time with that because, y'all, we got some business to cover. We have some things to talk about because you came here to get resources. You came here to understand how you can beat the odds and go from wanting something in life to getting it. And what that process takes, what's involved, and what it's going to require from you. So we're going to jump in. Is that okay for us to just jump right into the heart of why you came here? Thank you for coming on a Tuesday, by the way. Okay, this is already commitment number one. You coming after work, after a long day, to come and hear how you can reinvigorate and re-empower yourself to produce a win. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about you all. Are you excited about yourselves?
Yes.
Okay, because that's step one to winning. Be excited about you. Because I'm going to tell you right now, not everybody's going to be excited. Is it true, Miss Tyranny? Everybody going to be excited about you. I got some winning women in the house. I want to thank all my winning women for coming out and showing up. Yes, God bless you. Yes. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. And I really want to show us today some key things about what it really means to beat the odds. Walking through this process, I think that a lot of you will be able to identify with some of these things in different ways. As entrepreneurs, as individuals, as women in business, as people who are trying to make it, as ones that are looking to try to produce something out of yourself when you don't know if you have any of the resources to do so. So you're going to be able to identify in different ways. How many coaches do I have in the house tonight? Like anybody who does coaching, consulting, any of that kind of stuff? We got a few. Okay? How many of y'all just fall into it because you always giving your best friend advice or somebody advice? If you're an advice giver, you can just, okay. Okay? Because this is going to speak to you today about how, no matter how much you try to give advice to people and how many people in your life that you've tried to empower and get going. How many of y'all ever had that friend you've been trying to motivate for like maybe 5 years? They keep telling you about the same vision over and over again. They done told you about the dream. I'm going to start this business. I have this amazing idea. And they're always telling you about this idea over and over and over and over again. And you keep giving them the same advice, the same counsel that goes nowhere. Somehow you end up, girl, I know, I'm going to get there. I'm going to start. I know, I just need to get myself together. I'm going to get there, okay? And never start anything, never do anything with, okay? And you're just watching them. And you're seeing all of this talent, you're seeing all of this potential, you're seeing all of this ability going nowhere. And no matter what you say, you can't really motivate them to go anywhere or to do anything with it. And you certainly can't give them some of your little mojo, they like to say, right? You can't give them some of your stuff. We're going to discuss why. Why some people make it and why some people never will. And how they committed themselves to both options. My mentor and coach told us all the time, if you don't plan to succeed, you plan to fail. And if it ain't burned in my skull for my whole life. When I first started working with her, coming out of college as a drama, television, and film person, didn't know much about business, but had an affinity for it. We'll talk about that today as well. She told me from the beginning, if you don't plan to succeed, because success requires a plan, not just a feeling, not just a vision, not just an idea, and not just a passion. You have to plan for it. And we'll talk about how good our plans have been. When we look around the room and think about where we are in our lives right now. How good have your plan been? Y'all ready to jump into this? Because I am. We're going to talk about beating these odds, going from wanting to winning. The first thing we're going to discuss today is what is beating the odds? Because it sounds familiar, and what I like to do when I'm walking through something like this is not even familiarizing, actually distancing ourselves from what we think we know or understand about a subject matter already. Because I thought I understood until I actually started jumping into this. When I started Winning Women's Network, the whole goal was to teach women in particular how to win. Now, brothers, I got a few of my brothers here. I told them already, they said, should we step out of the room? I said, no, success is universal, and success has no gender. You apply the rules, you work the principles, you find yourself within the process, you can attain it. It's not exclusive. Winning is not an exclusive activity. It doesn't close its doors on anyone who meets the qualifications. But you must meet the qualifications. So what are we actually talking about here today when we talk about beating the odds? Here's a basic definition of what odds actually are. To beat the odds means defeating the variables in the way of your goal by examining the likelihood of making it happen through superiority and strength to gain advantage over an obstacle. The first thing that we're going to do in terms of resetting our mindset is how we view our obstacles and what we view about our success. How many of you guys had to say that once you start a business, you had to go back and reevaluate a few things? How about starting right with yourself? When I said yes to do this, I started realizing, I said, oh my goodness, I need to go and find what I just said yes to. Because, I did not expect this. I did not see this coming. So I need to go and think about what it actually means to be successful. Because see, I thought I was on my way. I went to school. I graduated with high honors. Okay, I did all the things according to all the rules and all the techniques. Working hard, positioning myself for success. Did all of that. Walked into my first opportunity to succeed and almost fell out. Because you know what I discovered? That I had all of the trimmings and all of the cosmetics, but none of the substance that it takes to win. So I was missing substance. But I went after that plastic. Honey, I did my plastic makeover. Yes, I did. I had my $78,000 makeover education. Okay, who got the loans to prove that we went after it? So we did the cosmetics, but the cosmetics didn't necessarily produce the outcome that we were going for. We went in on a hope, we went in on a hype, we went in on all of those things with your education and your degree. You wide-eyed when you go to college, ain't you? You ready? Hey, this is going to be it. And you think that that piece of paper is the golden ticket until you get into the world and realize that education has to be produced. Not just learned, not just understood, and not just known. Education has to be produced. Because what do they tell you when you go to look for your job with your degree? You all excited, I got my degree. And you go to apply for your job. What they say, what did you say, Miss Tyranny? You have zero experience. Why? Because they're looking for education that had an outcome. An education that had guaranteed results. They're not looking for education that's in here. They're looking for education that can come out of here and be a benefit to their job. So when we're talking about beating the odds, we're talking about defeating variables. Here are the components. We're talking about defeating variables, dealing with chance, likelihood, superiority, advantage, and strength. This is understanding. This is all in the definition of just the word odds. How many of y'all knew that? That to beat the odds, you have to start by defeating something, dealing with variables, taking a chance, operating in some area of superiority. Do you know you have to be better than your obstacle? Having some sort of advantage and operating in your strengths. So let's take a look at that today. Because we're now talking about how you get the power to win. But before we can get to the win, we've got some things in the way called odds that we have to deal with. So let's talk about that. To defeat something first, okay, we're talking about beating the odds. To beat something means you have to defeat it. That means you have to take away its feet, take away its power, take away its edge, take away its advantage over you, or that's trying to rival something you want to do. So to defeat is to win or overcome in battle or contest. How many of y'all know that winning is a contest? You're not even just competing with your neighbor sitting next to you that's already got the same type of business idea. No. The first contest is inside. It is to stop, block, or prevent from achieving an aim. So when you make up your mind that you're going to beat the odds, you're making up your mind that you're going to stop, do whatever you have to do to block or prevent what's trying to achieve its advantage over you. It's a mentality shift. I had to think about that when I thought about beating the odds. My mentor who has happened to be here. Hi, Dr. Tala Price. And the reality, she would tell us all the time, well, you need to defy the odds. I mean, I don't care what the obstacle is. I don't care if she said you need to go find an Eskimo in Africa with hot shoes on. Do you know that that is impossible? You need to go defy the odds. We're talking about different continents and different temperatures. You need to go defy the odds. Because her mentality for us was to never let an obstacle defeat you or stop you from producing what you came to do. You had to be more committed to your win than that obstacle is to blocking you. So to become a winner means preventing your odds from overtaking you. That is the first step that you have to do to shift your mentality to one of a winner. Because a lot of times, someone actually said it to me. He said, but if you're saying that, somebody's a winner, then that means people are losers. Isn't that kind of like a bad thing to think about? But how many of y'all want to lose jobs? How many of us want to lose homes? How many of us want to lose revenue? How many of you want to lose your opportunities? How many of you want to lose your business that you're fighting for? We don't want to lose. Because losing is not natural. Fighting for something to live that you've given birth to is. Doesn't everything fight to live? Including the win. Variables. So the next thing when you're dealing with odds, you're dealing with variables. These are factors outside of your control. Unpredictable, inconsistent, unstable, unsteady, uneven, and undependable things that just happen. So things you can't calculate, things you didn't plan for. How many of you guys can say, I did everything right? I put everything together the right way. I dotted every I, crossed every T, and then something out of nowhere that nobody could anticipate in a million lifetimes comes and sabotages your moment. Who's ever been sabotaged by something really ridiculous and small, incidental? The amazing PowerPoint presentation in front of the amazing opportunity, right? You got this amazing thing, and then your computer doesn't work. Yes. Uncontrollable factors, variables, odds that are trying to prevent your success and to keep you from winning. Something that's small, keeping you from winning an opportunity. Oh my gosh, I left my battery, my phone, or my computer plugged at home, and it's dying right now in the middle of this presentation. Oh my gosh. Something that small, out of your control, or maybe. We'll talk about that. Variables. So to become a winner means not being moved by the uncontrollable and adaptable to the changeable. A lot of times when it's time for us to deal with odds, one of the major things that gets in our way is the changeable. The fact that things keep changing. Every time I turn around, something is different. Something is changing. I got to figure out something else. I got to work out something else. Why can't it just work out the right way? Why can't it just all fall in line? All thoughts that are working against your win, that are allowing the situations to shift your mind and shift your attitude. And we'll talk about how those little statements come in and undermine your win. What I do in Winning Women all the time is we read a book called Nice Girls Don't Get the Corner Office. It's by a woman called Lois B. Frankel. Love the book. That's how we ended up starting the network, because I was just teaching people about the book. But what it's dedicated to is teaching women the unconscious mistakes they make that sabotage their business. Because when we're talking about odds and when we're talking about success, we're talking about a lot of times not the overt things, the unconscious mistakes. Oh my God, I can't believe I left the house without my laptop cord. How can I do that? Unconscious. That end up undermining your ability to win. So what we want to identify is what's lurking in the backdrop that is siphoning off your strength, siphoning off your courage, siphoning off your determination to win. Because of these little things that are unconsciously happening. And why it takes so much work, so much good work, to produce a win. That's why the winner's circle is not necessarily overflowing. Did y'all notice that? It's not always overflowing, because winning takes a lot of work. Chance. When you're beating the odds, you're also having to deal with chance. Time and chance happens to us all. Isn't that what we said? Okay, so we're talking about chance. Means an opportunity to advance and succeed. How you handle your available possibilities. Beating the odds. How do you handle what's available to you? How do you handle the possibilities that are in front of you? Beating the odds. To become a winner means identifying your means and opportunity to succeed. A lot of people don't beat the odds because, can you all say this? When we talked about the friend earlier that's always telling you about the business they're going to build one day. Okay? And no matter how much advice you give them, they can't ever see the means and they can't ever see the opportunity. You can't beat those are the odds. You can't beat the odds if you can't identify your opportunities and you can't identify your means or pathways to succeed. How many times have you had people just walk right past? Did you realize that that was a moment for you to just, girl, I'm too tired to go to some networking thing. I'm going to stay home. I'm busy. I can't be doing all of that. It's late. Now, honey, my TV show coming on. My favorite TV, is it true? My favorite TV show. And we look at that and we think that those are just attitudes about life or lifestyle decisions, not realizing that they're actually not identifying or passing up means and opportunities. Because they can't see them. And there's a reason why that we're going to talk about today. Can y'all say, you understand that? How many of y'all can understand that you need to take a chance? Or need to recognize when a chance has been given to you in order for you to win? Superiority. It's one thing that we don't think about, but when it comes to winning, you have to be able to have some sort of superiority over your obstacles and over your barriers. I like the word superiority because it means having a lead, an advantage, an edge, a dominance, or being better. Okay, beating the odds sometimes is about you just being better. Better than the odds, better than the barrier, better than the obstacle, better than the setback, better than your competition, better than what's trying to take you out. Sometimes it's just about being better, what's setting you apart. Because superiority is about what sets you apart and what causes you to stand out. And people to recognize why you should get the win versus somebody else. And you have to know what makes you stand out. How many of y'all ever made a list of what makes your business stand out? How many of you ever, oh, very good. How many of you ever made a list of what makes you stand out? Because you are the business, and the business ultimately is you. So you have to make a list and know what makes you stand out, what sets you apart. Because when you're going up against odds, trust me, the first thing they're going to do is size up what you made of. Okay, so what do you have? So what makes you so great? Well, y'all doing it right now with me in the room saying, well, let me see what you got to say. Okay, what are you about? What you talking about today? Who are you? So you have to know what your edge is. You have to know what your advantage is when people are trying to identify whether you should be the winner. Because a lot of times people can identify you as the winner before you identify them yourself. So to become a winner means you must have an advantage, an edge, or a lead. And you must be able to identify those things readily. Someone else should not control the narrative on your advantages, on your qualities, and on your leads, on any of those things. No one else should be controlling that narrative but you. And when you allow other people to control that narrative, you've already guaranteed that you're not going to be the superior. You're going to be underneath. You're going to be the follower. You're going to be the reactor. And you're going to be the responder and not the one that's out front. Do we ever, and you know, and Dr. Price, you often ask us that all the time, do we ever remember the people that come after number one? Yeah. Nobody ever remembers 2 and 3. Who knows the bios of the third runner-up? Okay? Who knows the third person in the playoffs? No, we only care about the one that went to the championship. So nobody's interested in what happens in 2 and 3 and 4. They only care about number 1. And so you have to decide now that you're going to control the narrative on your identity as number 1. And not let somebody else do that for you. Because if somebody else's narrative is shaping you or causing you to respond, then they're also going to determine your outcome. Advantage. So we're now talking about, again, variables, beating the odds. What's going to give you the advantage? A condition that puts one in a favorable position to gain something or profit. How many times do you deliberately put yourselves in positions to gain or profit? Because that's gaining the advantage. One thing about winning is it's something that you have to think about all the time. So when you're coming up against odds, you're always having to examine, how can I get the advantage? How can I shift this to my favor? How can I turn this for me? How can I make this result, okay, work out so that I can get ahead? And not being afraid to do that. One thing that's sometimes challenging for women is, which is why I like the book Nice Girls, we can be a little too nice. So we want to play nice and not think about our own advantage. So we're trying to be friends. And then next thing you know, you up here trying to be friends with somebody, and then they taking your lunch money, they taking your business, they smiling. Girl, yeah. Yeah, sure. Like, yeah, girl, we still friends. Yeah, we can go hang out, but you just took my client. Okay? While I was trying to be friends and have coffee and chill, not listening to conversations that will put you in the advantage. Not looking at relationships that will put you in the advantage. Not listening to connections that will put you in the advantage. Or the people around you who are undermining it. Because see, nice girls are always looking for what's trying to take something away from them. Because they're going to protect their storehouse. So they're going to be listening for what is trying to take the advantage from them. Because they're always looking for the win. A nice girl never passes up the opportunity, or I should say a winning woman versus a nice girl never passes up that opportunity to win. And you've got to be more committed to it than they are to undermining your ability. And don't they do it so sweet and so nice? Oh yeah, well she's good. I mean, she's nice. I mean, Ashley D, I mean, yeah, she's nice. She can sell houses, but let me tell you what I can do. Okay? Let me tell you what my skills are. Let me tell you what my abilities are. Have you come by my office? Why don't you come by and check us out? Have you ever been by our store? See? Control that narrative. You always have to be in control of that conversation and be on the lookout for what's trying to undermine your win, because they do it so nicely. That's why they call it nice girls don't win. Because nice girls do nice things to take you out. Strength. Well, is it true? Strength. So when you're talking about beating the odds, you must know your strength. Odds defeating takes strength, not just passion. A lot of times, when we go back to our example at the beginning of why your girlfriend that you're always talking about that's going to do the business, that's one day going to make it, when they get their act together and they get an opportunity and they get a breakthrough and things work out for them and they stop having problems and they stop having crises. That one right there, see? The difference is they don't understand, or they're not committed to the strength it takes to push the odds out of the way. And at the moment that the odds begin to push back, they have a different attitude or position about it. So strengths, when you're beating the odds, again, we're talking about just what it takes to beat the odds. You got to have the ability to defeat something. You cannot be afraid of variables. You got to be able to step out and take a chance. And now you got to understand what your strengths are. Your assets, your aptitudes, your skills, your qualities, and your talent. What you as the individual are bringing to the table. What are you bringing to the table beyond your business idea? How many people know people with great business ideas that are sitting in shelves and going nowhere doing anything? And why do they continue to sit in shelves? Because what makes the idea work is not the idea itself. What makes the idea work is you. The application of your assets, the application of your abilities, the application of your qualities, the application of your talents. Your idea is not going to build itself. And where it gets its life, its first life source and force to exist outside of your mind is you. Because businesses are succeeding not simply because of the ideas or the money they're making in or the product itself, but because good minds are sitting at the top. How many of you guys ever read the book Good to Great? It talks about the minds sitting at the top that made a small company go from just being a good idea to a great industry. So your assets, what you bring to the table, is what will determine your outcome. To become a winner, you must identify and harness your strengths. How many know the strengths that you personally bring to your entity? Y'all made a list of that. The strengths that you as the individual bring to your entity. Because see, that is what makes the difference. Knowing what you bring to it. Is it true? So we have to understand a lot of times. Shay, what would you say would be something that you bring to your own business?
My commitment to my clients.
Say it again for me.
My commitment to my clients.
Your commitment to your clients is what you say you bring to the table that kind of sets you apart a little bit. Okay, in that class, since you raised your hand, Ms. Ashley, so why don't you tell us? Oh, she's going to do the microphone. She wants you to say it again for her on there.
I said my commitment to my clients.
Your commitment to your clients is what you bring as an asset to the business. Tracy, what about you, since you're sitting right there? And she doesn't have, that way she doesn't have to run.
I would say my creativity and bringing forth the ability to produce what my clients want.
Your ability to produce what your clients want. Terry, what would you say?
The way that I put things together that make their vision come to life.
The way you put things together that make their vision come to life. Why is that important? Why would you say that those three things would even be important? This is my new friend. Oh, yes, go ahead. You can pass her the mic.
Brittany.
Brittany. Hey, Brittany.
I'm not sure exactly what these ladies do, but when they made their comments, I believe people remember more so how you make them feel than the experience.
Okay, so you feel like it's the experience. Because with these, when you think about these qualities, okay, even beyond, well, how many of y'all ever walked away from a business because you had a bad experience? Okay, you out the door. Okay? Because the person's attitude was wrong. You did not appreciate how they treated you or talked to you. Because we almost, oh, look at this, she passed. I know she was like, listen, I don't want to say. Because of what they said to you or did to you. And why is that? Because people make businesses and not just products. Products are not the only thing that comprises the trade experience. Okay? So when you think about these three people, they gave you reasons for why you would want to select their business beyond just what they're offering. Because, my goodness, you are in event planning. So are you the only event planner in Tulsa? So when people are trying to make a choice about why they would go with Tracy, why would they go with Tracy, Sonia? What makes her different?
She serves her customers with excellence.
Okay, because the way she serves her customers, and she said something unique about how she serves her customers. She said she can bring creativity. That means that she can get into the head of what her customers are thinking and what they're going after to produce something that perhaps they didn't even know how to communicate or say. I mean, I don't know how many people are in event planning, but people will tell you, I want it to just kind of look like this and do this and that and the other thing. Can you do that? And you're like, well, what is that? I don't even know what you just said. But to have a unique ability to get into someone's psyche and say, I now understand what you're looking for. How about this? Are you looking for something that does this? Because this is what I heard from what you said. And not just telling you what you should have because it fits my skill and my expertise. How often does that happen when somebody puts you in their box? Because it's where their skill level is. Okay? So you're stuck right there. Not getting your vision off the ground, but literally being trapped in what they can produce. So you want to know your skills and your talents because that makes the difference in you getting the job, you getting the offer. And not just knowing them to say that you can do that, but how they all work together to produce what you promise others. Strength, the ability to withstand pressure. So if you're going to beat the odds, you have to be able to withstand some pressure. My mentor used to say to us, the best comes from the press. I never wanted to hear that statement, ever. Okay? When you have deadlines and projects and things piled up to here in your personal life and now at your business life, and she walks by us and says, oh, well, the best comes from the press, so keep pressing. And you know what's so funny? She was right. Because when you press someone, you find out what's in them and what they can really deliver on. How many people have ever experienced somebody who overpromised and underdelivered? You want to know the quality and the standard of what you can deliver by how you meet the press. When you are pressed to deliver, when you're pressed or stretched to go beyond your limitations, beyond your comfort zone, beyond the things, okay, that you're used to or familiar with, you start finding out, whoa, wait a minute, okay. I discovered new skills, new abilities, new aptitudes. Things like I told you, I got my walking MBA. I went to school for drama. Okay? And got my walking MBA because of what was pressed out of me by determining that we were going to beat the odds and we were going to beat the conditions we were facing. We weren't going to let the climate, we weren't going to let the environment, we weren't going to let the situations and the problems and the setbacks dictate how we would deliver and if we would deliver. So guess what I discovered? The best came out. Whoa, I can do operations. I can do workflows. I can put things together because I was pressed and determined to beat the odds. Emotional or mental qualities to deal with difficult situations. If you're going to beat the odds, you have to understand the emotional and mental qualities you have to deal with difficulty. How does your emotions respond to difficulty? That will tell you your chance of beating the odds and going from just wanting to be the awesome entrepreneur to actually becoming it. And we'll talk about that more as we go on. To become a winner, you must have more than determination. You must have fortitude and endurance. Because winning isn't an incident. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in just a moment. You have to have the ability to endure to the end of the process. How many of y'all can say, I can endure to the end of the odds coming against me? See, it's when Azure D said it was 49. It was going past 49 to 50 that gave her the breakthrough. How many of you can say, I can go past the odds? One thing I loved about what I was taught in becoming a winner was your ability to outlast your opposition. That a winner has the ability to outlast the opposition. Can you have the fortitude to go beyond what's going to press you or prevent you or block you or stop you from achieving what you want to do? That is important. So winning is mastering the odds. That's the first thing you have to recognize, is that when you go after the win, odds will be present. That's why we started this off with beating them. Because anytime you go after winning anything, opposition is inherent. Odds are inherent. Difficulty is inherent to the process. Something is going to get in your way. It doesn't matter what, even if it's yourself. You could be the odds that you need to defeat. So you have to turn problems into possibilities. That is the first mindset shift of a winner. Looking at their problems as a possibility to do something else. Well, I couldn't do it this way, but now, look, it's possible to make it happen this way. Well, we ran out of this. Well, the supplies fell short here. Well, we couldn't make this happen. Well, that shut down. Well, that opportunity closed. But you know what? It turned into a possibility for us to, and not seeing the end of the matter. You know you're ready to be the winner when you get to the place of destitution, and that's not the end of the matter for you. Winning equals confronting the odds. One thing I can say that I was taught to do and trained to do from the roots is confront the odds. Not dodge them, not avoid them, okay? Not wish they were gone. I can't tell you how many times we just wish, I wish I didn't have to work this hard. I wish I didn't have to do it this way. I wish it could be different. I wish we could just, why couldn't I just have? Why couldn't the money just be there? Why can't people just, what did Azure D say? Why can't somebody just open the door? Goodness. Why can't you just open the door? Why I gotta go through all of this? Why do I have to do this? See, when you're asking those questions, you're not yet ready to win. Yeah. Because the odds are controlling your narrative. They're controlling your view. You're not yet ready because you're not ready to stand up and confront those. So you have to have an answer for opposition. One thing I love about a dear friend that I have here today is that she has an answer for everything. And it's the truth. No matter what it is, she always got a response. And I used to think that was the craziest thing in the world. But you know what? She flicks off opposition in a heartbeat because she always has an answer for it. So when it comes her way and it begins to start the reel, okay, you know that mental reel that kicks in, she got an answer for it. And she talks back to the odds. And she talks back to the opposition, reinforcing her dedication to what she wants to win. How many of y'all have a thought talk to deal with opposition? Okay, you got to have one written down. See, when you're writing your business plan, have your business plan on one side, and then on the other side, have your thought talk for what's going to try to conflict with the business plan. So here's my success plan on this side, and then here's my thought talk on this side here. For everything everybody's going to say is the reason why I should not be doing this, that, or the other thing. So you write a plan for both. So what are the odds? Odds are obstacles, detriments, deterrents, and setbacks. What is stopping your success? stopping your success? Odds are what is stopping your success. What do I mean by stopping? What stops it? Keeps it from moving. Or how about this? You're moving and you're working every day, but you're not producing. So that means that your success has stopped. Because many of us work hard. I mean, I say, I'm working hard, I'm putting all this time in, and I'm not getting anything for it. I don't think I have anything to show. I put more money in than I'm getting out. That means something has stopped the flow of your success. So let's talk about obstacles. What prevents or hinders progress? See, we think that often when we're dealing with stopping success, that it means it's going to shut you down all the way. No, it's not to shut you down all the way. It can just make you unfruitful and irritated and frustrated until you want to give up. Until you're like, I'm done. I'm over it. In fact, when Azure D was talking, we hit some of those moments. She was going to give up the mobile store. I'm done. No, we're not done. We're going to revamp and rethink, and okay? We're going to surmount this obstacle. We're going to get around this impossibility. But you need to get a harvest on what you invested. You want to push until you get your return. See, nice girls want to walk away and leave things on the table. I tell my winning women all the time, when you walk into a situation, you never leave what you want sitting on that table. So I'm going to keep pushing because I'm going to get what I'm not leaving this on the table. I'm not going to walk away empty-handed. Because that's really what creates the disappointment. The disappointment is not only did you not get it, but now you're empty. You're drained of every resource. Difficulty, strenuous, inconvenient, and demanding. Don't y'all appreciate that? Odds, when you're dealing with odds, you have to come up against difficulty. Why? Because you know what? I've been told many years, winning is not convenient. Success is the most inconvenient thing to do in your life. It never does it on your time. It never does it on your watch when you want it to. You can't set your clock by it. You can't stop your life. Can you? You can tell me somebody who brought success under their control. Is success okay? No, success runs you. You don't run it. It tells you. That's what the biggest deception is about being an entrepreneur. Oh, you'll have more time. You'll have more, you can spend it with your family. No. They lied to you, baby. I'm going to tell you right now, they lied to you. Success is about to own you. And you know what's even worse? You have nobody else to pass off the work to because it's owning you. You can't take a vacation because you ain't got employees. You can't stop it because every time you don't work, you don't eat. So that's a lie. Success is inconvenient. And it will inconvenience your entire life. And you have to be ready to meet that demand. And listen now, because it inconveniences you to vet you to find out if you even belong here. Well, sister, I know I said I was going to get that to you, but this had happened. My kid got sick and the car broke down and the dog ran away. And then I'm sorry that we can't get your $50,000 order to you because, I'm sorry that it's late and you missed your opportunity and your appointment because I had about 10 million things that happened to me. Inconvenient. Strenuous. Demanding. Deterrence. How about the discouragements and restraints? What I like about deterrence is that it's somebody telling you or giving you a reason to not do. I'm going to move a little bit faster for y'all. Is that okay? Setbacks. Setbacks are dealing with reversals, misfortunes. How many of y'all felt like you had the appointment, you had that client, you had that opportunity, and then the thing reversed? Being able to deal with setbacks. Winning is not magic, it's the calculated effort of the diligent. It's not magic, it's calculated, which is why you have to be thinking about it all the time. The secret is knowing where to apply that effort and focus your diligence. That's the secret to go from wanting to winning. Where you apply your effort, where you apply your diligence is the key. Thoughts to ponder. What is winning? Is it technical or instinctual? We'll see if we get there today because we may not have the time. Why winning is more than goal setting, and what are the 3 things you must change to achieve a win? 3 components to winning: desire, perception, value. That's what we're going to talk about where winning begins today. Desire, perception, value. What is winning? Is it working hard? Is it reaching your goals? Is it following the rules of success? Because we've all done that. Okay? They give you 10 steps to do this, 5 ways to do that, 3 points to get here. Okay? And somehow you're still no more further ahead in the process than when you first started. And then you spend money on these mastermind classes, like $10,000. And you're no further ahead to reaching your goal. So why don't people who work hard win? Why don't people who complete all their goals win? Why don't people who play by all the rules of success win? Why don't people who win succeed in life? So you have a win and yet you're not successful. So you won one contract and still can't perpetuate that. Why do people seem to fail no matter what they do? What makes a winner? Where does winning actually begin? Is it technical, external? Or is it instinctual, and that should be internal? So we do all of these things over here. We set goals, we make plans, we do methods, we pursue things, we attain things, we have success. We do all of that. And yet somehow still not end up where we belong. So is it technical? Well, let's see. When we think about those, most of the programs we've all been to, and reasons why you come here today, which is why I'm not going to give you 10 steps to nothing. There'll be no 10 steps after this. There's going to be no 3 steps to nowhere. It's not happening. You know why? Here's why. Okay, let's look at this external thing. Okay, so when we're talking about the external, technique is all about performance. It's about your skills, your ability, your mastery, your talent, your method, your approach. That's all external. So why those techniques don't work is because they start with performance and they ignore something very crucial. And that is this. Your internal self. Because winning, which is why you can have one person sitting here, a 10-step process, go out there, make $1 million, okay, and then you hear a 10-step process, or your neighbor does, and they get nowhere. Because it's instinctual. They ignore the instinctual elements of winning, which is natural. And you see the words up there. Innate, inborn, fixed, filled with. Your instincts are what you're innately inborn with, what you're filled with. Your impulses, your intuitions, that inner thing that prompts you. Like what prompted you to come tonight and then told somebody else to stay home. That's instinct. That says you should go after this. And another person says, no, I don't think that's for me. I don't want to waste my money. I don't want to waste my time. I don't know. And you have an instinct to know that that's your deal, that works for you. That's instinctual. Those impulses. So winning starts on an instinctual level before the techniques can work for you. Because the techniques won't work on instincts that can't even comprehend them. Your inborn, innate nature can't even pick up the technique. So is it manual or intuitive? Technique is the manual side of winning. When it's time for you to demonstrate, it's time for you to perform. But the intuitive side is what gets you ready for performance day. Why your friend is going to sit on the curb and never be ready to do anything is because there's an internal issue that is blocking their ability to produce, to actually discharge that idea. And if they never figure it out, it never comes out. So where does winning begin? Within you. Winning is natural. It's not just performance-based. It starts with how you deal with your life. Winning is working your inner nature. The people who win, they can properly work that inner nature so that they can externally command their environment and their outcomes and results. So what is your inner nature? You can take a picture of that if you want to. Your native abilities and talents. Natural patterns of behavior. Your intuitive way of thinking and acting. Your strengths and weaknesses. Your beliefs and outlooks. Your wants and your desires. So when we're talking about how well you can work your inner nature to produce an external result, we're dealing with what comes natural to you, what comes native to you, your natural patterns of behavior. If you have a pattern of being late, well, You have a pattern of, delaying decision making, Natural, native habits. Or if you have a pattern of taking risks, Not allowing the odds or the situation to deter you. Not allowing the climate to change your mind. That's a natural habit or pattern in behavior. An intuitive way of thinking. You intuitively know what it takes to push ahead. And then, of course, the assessment of your own strengths and weaknesses. The natural components of a winning soul. Here they are. The heart, the mind, the will, and the emotions. Winning comes from the soul, which is comprised of all of those things, which is why people who don't have that in their souls can't, your friend that's sitting on the porch, we still got her. Because she's trying to figure out how to get this win. And no matter what you tell her, she's not motivated. So you have this, the cogs of winning. Your heart, your mind, your will, and your emotions. Your passions and desires. Your mentality and consciousness. Your determination. Your attitudes and beliefs and perceptions. So step one is to start with the heart. What is your passion or desire? Winning is not an activity, it is a pursuit of a desire. Where we go wrong is that we think that it's all about the activities that we do. Well, I'm going to send out 50 flyers. Well, I'm going to post all day on Facebook. Well, okay? We think all of the activities are what's going to produce a win for us. When it starts with what you're actually pursuing. Why are you sending out the messages? Why did you start your business? What are you hoping to accomplish? The secret to winning, which all of my winning women in here know, what you want. The 5 Q's of winning in any sphere start with knowing what you actually want. And most of us in here, how many guys would say, I know what I want? I'm pretty clear. I know what I want. Okay, very good. So let's talk about that. 5 Q's. What do you want? Knowing what you want is great, right? But knowing what that looks like in action or what that will look like in result is better. How will you get it? Or what are you willing to do to get what you want? Because a lot of times we may know it, but then it comes down to what we're willing to do to get it. Like the sister friend who wants the business. I want my idea to work, but what is she willing to do to get it? What is she willing to do to make it happen? And how will you know when you have it? Can you recognize when you actually have attained your want? And then number 5, how will you keep it? So once you get what you want, how will you keep what you want? Is there a plan for that? So the difference between a goal and a want is this. Your goal is a task or an activity. But your want is your motives and desires or drive for doing it. What's driving why you do what you do? Because we will say our goal is our want. My goal is to knock on 50 doors. Well, that's nice. But her want is actually to succeed. Her want is to be the top of the agency. See, that's what she really wants. And that's what's driving the activity. Does that make sense? Your wants are the seat of your satisfaction or your fulfillment. Which is why you can hit 1,000 goals and do 1,000 things and still not feel very fulfilled. Because it doesn't match your want. What you really want. Here are some examples of what people really want. Not what they say, but what they really want. Because we say, I want to make money, I want to have a successful business, I want to, be an entrepreneur. We say all of those types of things, don't we? But what our wants, or what's really driving us, starts here. That what you really are going after are these things. And we don't think about that. So that's why when we try to start businesses or go after visions and go after ideas, when these things are not achieved, when these things don't happen, we want to get out of it. We don't want to pursue it. It stops our success because that's what we really want. I had a lot of my women come to me and tell me all the time, well, I just want to make this, I just want to make my business successful, and I just want to make this kind of money and et cetera, per year, and all of those kinds of things. And I said, oh, that's great. So then what are you going to do to get it? Well, how are you going to actually, pursue that and make that happen? Well, I don't want to be out there all day and night, just passionate. I don't like to knock on doors. Well, I'm really shy. Well, I really don't talk to people like that. Well, this makes me uncomfortable, and I don't like people with certain attitudes. And, well, the girl at my job, like, she gets on my nerves. Okay. So then making money is not really what you want. You have another intention in mind. You have another thing that you're trying to feed, another source that you're trying to fulfill. And most of the times it's this. I can't tell you how many people will stay at jobs and take less money because they're affirmed, because they respect me, because they like me. How many times will people stay in places that are not fulfilling them or not actually meeting their goals of making a certain amount of money because these things are hit? Well, I have good relationships there. I have good friends at work. But you're not. You wanted a promotion. You said you wanted to be at the top. You said you wanted to be the manager. I know, but, so-and-so's so good to me. Like, they come by my office every day and you'll stay there because these needs are being met, even though your goals coming out of your mouth are something else. Empowering your will. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to do? You have to empower your will. Your will exists to see to it that your heart gets what it wants. That's what your willpower is for. So once you determine what you want, your will goes into action to see to it that it happens. Your will is the seat of your determination, your fight, and your drive to get what you want. You will never go from wanting to winning if your will never becomes determined to make that happen. This is where your wants begin to take on strength to move you from mere desire to performance. Your will is how your wants, that passion for whatever it is that you're pursuing, begins to gain the strength to perform. So the sister friend on the porch will never want to perform, okay, till she wills to do something that's uncomfortable, till she wills to do what it takes to make sure she gets the result. If her will never engages, she'll never perform. Now the transition from wanting to winning begins when your will is persuaded that you should have it. The winning is internal, is an internal covenant you make with yourself to get what you want no matter what. It's a covenant you make with you. Not with the people around you, not with your neighbors and friends. You make that covenant with yourself that you're committed to get what you deserve. Wanting your wants. Training your emotions is step 3. Training your emotions. Wanting your wants. Your emotions exist to support the heart by projecting its desires and protecting its weaknesses. That's what your emotions do when it comes to the process of winning what you want. Your emotions will motivate or eliminate you from getting your win, and we'll talk about how. They reveal or expose your inner obstacles or odds that must be defeated before you can truly pursue your wants and goals. Here are some of those internal odds that you have to face when it comes to winning. And we're all familiar with them. Haven't we had to? When you're making a decision to face off, you've got to deal with these barriers that are going to stop, they're going to debilitate your will and stop your ability to perform. How you respond when the odds hit your emotions determines if you will stay the course or redefine your wants or renegotiate your wins. When we start going through trials, when pain and loss starts happening to us, we start suffering in our business. All of a sudden, what we thought we wanted and when we were the original win we were going after, I'm okay with this. I don't need all of that. I can just settle for this. I can just do this. And you start renegotiating based on where your emotions are and what your emotional fortitude is, what your emotional endurance is. You'll change your mind in the quickness if it's not been built up or trained to literally align itself with achieving what you want. Emotional goals and your professional goals are not always the same. Like I said, you can want to climb the corporate ladder until you get told off in a business meeting, humiliated and embarrassed, and it takes you all the way back to 3rd grade, and you say, I'm never doing this again. Because I've been humiliated, I've been embarrassed, and I ain't doing this, so it's over. So your emotions can affect all of these areas of your life. So although you want to be this great entrepreneur, and you have this great desires to do so, The decisions you make for or against your emotions will determine what you produce. So if emotional safety is important to you, is a priority, that your emotions aren't disturbed or upset, oh, no, anybody gonna talk to me like that. I don't care what they say, okay. So no one's gonna talk to you like this. No one's gonna say any of this to you. But it also means that you're walking away from something that you said that you wanted or was a goal. You see how easy that is? So it controls your decision making. It controls your confidence. Oh no, I don't want to talk in front of people, but I want to do some sales. Okay. Your competence. It deals with your, what I like about the word competence is not only your skill level, but your ability to compete. Well, I don't want anybody to be mad at me. I don't want people to not like me. I don't want to make them upset at me. I wasn't trying to start any trouble. I don't want any, okay. It affects your performance. Okay? Your ability to perform. So some days when you're having a good day, then your client gets everything. When they're having a bad day, your client gets nothing. Your producibility. Well, man, I was up late all night, so I'm sorry that this ain't worked out. Your reliability, your reputation, all of those things, even your finances can be affected by your emotions. Well, I don't want to charge too much. Okay, but the company is going broke. Well, they're my good friend, and they say they're going to pay me back later. But your company is going broke. Even how you learn is more emotional than technical. And we'll talk about that at another time. Because a lot of people think that they can't learn difficult things or do difficult things because they have a capacity issue or a capability issue, and it's more of an emotional one. You don't want to look dumb, you don't want to feel stupid, so you shy away from learning things that will expose your emotions, even though your brain has the ability to do it. Align your emotional priorities with your desired outcomes and train your emotions to win. You have to teach your emotions how to win because your emotions naturally want to protect and defend your weaknesses. They're naturally going to be your first guards against your success because they're going to protect that insecurity. And we'll do it 1,000 ways, won't we? We'll protect our insecurities in 1,000 ways. Well, I just don't prefer to do that. That's just not really my area. That's not really what I do. We protect them. So even if it keeps us out of the game, even if it keeps us from taking advantage. The last one is shaping your mind. Winning is mental. Having the mentality to win. The characteristics and attitude of your mind. I love that about the word mentality because it's dealing with the characteristic attitude of your mind and the way you think. Your attitude about how you see things, about how you think, shows up when it's time to face off with winning. Consciousness, the state of being awake or aware. The perception of something by a person. So when you're talking about a winning consciousness and a winning mind, you're talking about the state of being awake or aware, your perceptions. So let's look at this. Your mind's job is to give logic to your wants and desires. It develops the process and procedures of performance, production, and achievement. Your mind determines how you will win. Your heart determines if you will win, but your mind will tell you how you will do it. Winning requires the right attitude and perception. Optics must precede opportunities. Let's go back to your friend on the porch. No matter how many opportunities you give them to succeed, you open doors for them. You share contacts, names with them. You give them the friends of a friend of a friend's friends, okay? And you get them in front of everybody and anybody. But no matter how many times you make the offer, they don't see that as their opportunity. They don't see it as the ability to win. They don't think that that is for them. So we're talking about optics need to first be shifted for a person to even appreciate opportunity. You will never achieve more than what you see. This is why some succeed where others fail. How you see is influenced by your soul, the home of your inner nature. So if you are a person that is prone to fear, is prone to insecurity, then guess what? How you're going to see every opportunity is through the eyes of that insecurity. I did it myself many years ago. When I was younger, I had an opportunity to attend the top performing art school in the nation. It was number one. I was the only black thing getting in there. 40 students. Okay, 40 students is all they took. And I turned it down. You know why? Optics. Because in my mind, I couldn't live up to that standard. So the opportunity for me to succeed and go to the top was there. But my optics closed the door. So the conscious mentality of a winner is that you have to be able to see your options before your obstacles, or in place of. What I like about my mentor is that there's no such thing as an obstacle. Everything's an option. Opportunities over your opposition. You have to see rewards and not risks. Because see, a lot of people say, I don't want to take the risk. But winners always see the reward. They're not focusing on the risk. They're focusing on the reward, what they're going to get back in return. Privileges over pressure, where everybody else sees pressure. This is just too much, and that's what I thought why I turned down the school. This is too much. It's too much pressure. I'm not going to be able to do it. Everybody else saw the privilege of being in the school that was number one. I didn't see the privilege. I saw the pressure. Gains versus losses. Okay? A lot of people will see what they're going to lose by taking a risk, what they're going to lose by stepping out, what they're going to lose by taking a chance on themselves and their business, what they're going to lose if they face off with the odds, and not the gains of getting to the top. Pain over power. Okay? Where a lot of people do not see their power. They're caught up in the pain, that an issue, that the odds cause them. So when you're caught up in your pain, you don't see your power. So these are how it's going to work. When you're ready to win, this is what you're going to be looking at doing. Your desires will link up with your talents, and your talents will link up with your performance, which will link up with opportunities and outlets to create the perfect winning moment. You'll know when your winning moment is there, when that is possible. Is that all right to say? And so I will close out on that note there. And I think that's right, because this is all about how you're ready to win. You can take a picture of it, knowing yourself, okay, liking yourself, being yourself, and beating your obstacles. That is how you will do it. I will end on this quote, and I'm going to just go down here. It's a great quote to end on because I love it. And that is by my own mentor here, that told me that the real secret to winning is recognizing that life is a problem and you are its solution. That changed me forever and caused me to become a winning woman, because I stopped looking at problems as the problem and started seeing myself as the solution to my own success. I want to thank you guys for listening and giving me the opportunity to share this with you today. I want to thank Azure D again for the opportunity. Come on down.
All right, give Dr. Tala Price a hand. Amazing things tonight. I know it was a lot. I've seen a lot of your wheels turning. And before we close out, I wanted to see, I wanted to see some of your thoughts. Do you have some thoughts? I see you. No? What did you learn? Give me something that you learned tonight that you can take with you.
We need to get out of the way sometimes to be able to see the opportunities that are out there.
Great. Anybody else?
Jennifer, what about you?
I think it's important to, as she was saying, getting out of our own way, and our mind, the way our mind works, because it plays a big part in, us performing. If we are in our own way and our mind is consumed with worry and what's going to happen and what's not going to happen, it hinders us from being successful. So I appreciate all the information that she shared.
All right. Awesome. We can take one more.
I love the part about the optics and how our emotions play a part in us succeeding and not succeeding.
Actually, Angela, you're back there. I know you, Tanya, you guys are founding business members. Do you have anything you want to share with us? Anything that you've learned? Tanya?
I like the aggressiveness for one.
Oh,
The speaking.
okay.
I like the
She's
and
aggressive.
also not to be apologetic for your competence of what you know.
Yes.
So that's, sometimes I apologize for my strength, and I try to hold back on it so that I don't make that individual that I come in contact with to feel like they need to shine. But if I have it to shine, why not shine too? so not to be apologetic for what I know and not to dummy down my competence and my own self. So,
Absolutely. Well, guys, we want to thank you for coming out. Do you have any closing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I'm sure she has some, but this event was an amazing turnout. We're happy that you guys found time in your busy schedule during a weekday to come out and support what we have going on. Dr. Tala Price will be back. She has 2 more appearances for the year. So make sure you you follow us on Facebook, BWBO Tulsa, so that we can hear more about her and what she's going and her next topic. I'm so excited to hear that. I know that Charity, she doesn't really speak on it, but when we started Black Women Business Owners of Tulsa, one of the things we made sure that we talked about is what we wanted out of this group. And I'm like, okay, I'm so laser focused, and Charity is so strategic till she's like, the creative person that I am, I'm like, okay, I didn't see that coming, but this one here, she's always like, no, that's gonna work out, because let me tell you, what do we say we want? She always go back to what we want. What is it that we want? Now we fight, we have alpha personalities is what they say, but we fight, we get it together. But this one here, I think, is a great duo because we really understand what it is that we want. That's the main thing that we go off, and we determine that, okay, we started it and we're gonna see to it to the end, and this one won't let you, like, what do we say? Let's go back to point A. I'm like, So everything she said, is a testament of what we go through as business owners in general, and the fact that she outweighs, like, she literally plans for, she writes, failure in her plan. Like, she doesn't live in a reality that, there's nothing going to happen. Everything is going to go as planned. Today is a prime example of this, this woman's strategically. Dr. Tala Price, what happened today? Her shoe broke. Can I tell her? I've heard tell her. Already. Her shoe broke, and she had like 3 other pairs. She was like, well, I guess I gotta let these go. I got these 2 and accessories, 4 or 5 accessories ready. I'm like, but we're just here. She literally wrote failure or mishaps into the plan, and that's what makes winners. Not always determining the success of the thing. I know that it's going to happen. It's going to be A, B, and C, and that's it. But what about the plan? What about the failures? What about plan B? And if you have a plan B, you need a plan D, E, through Z, because life just doesn't happen like that. There's always going to be mishaps. And she definitely practices what she preaches, and I'm happy to see it in action and to be a product of what she has taught. So,
and guys, make sure that you guys connect with Dr. Price. They have a table over here. They also have a whole program, and it's called Winning Women's Network. So we definitely want to encourage you that if you like this content and you need this kind of content, not if, you always need this kind of content, get connected within their program as well. And then, if you're not a member of BWBO Tulsa, make sure you guys go online and become a member. So that way you guys can stay connected. We have some great benefits for you guys, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but make sure you guys join. We would love to have you guys. We're going to be continuing on and making sure that we're doing at least 3 to 5 events every month, so that you guys are having opportunities to get the information and connect with people that you guys like to connect with. And so like I said, definitely shout out to Angela, who is one of our founding business members. And she got 3 businesses in her membership, so make sure you guys come along. We're going to be looking at possibly having her as a mentor within our network as well. And yeah, I think, you know what? I need everybody to get their phone out right now. Phone.
And while you're doing that, we have the Success Center over in the corner. I think Minister Maud is going to be able to tell you more about it. Dr. Tala can tell you about it, and they have a table with representatives. So if you want to know how to get connected with Women Winning Winning Women's Network, as well as an entire success center for counseling, for business growth, you name it, business coaching, you name it. They have a whole organization that will be able to assist you in the community. All right, so phones out.
Phones out, you know, y'all gotta check in. Check in. Y'all check in, take a picture with somebody, make a quote. Y'all know I am PR marketing and branding. Y'all ain't leaving here without checking in, okay?
All right, and make sure you network. We're officially dismissed.
Oh,
right?
one other thing, if you guys want a snazzy BWBO Tulsa t-shirt or a tote, they are $15. We got some over there for you, so yes.
All right. We're officially dismissed. Make sure you network with somebody, plan a lunch.